Ask yourself right now how you get faster. Now, if you said by reducing your frontal area to the size of a peanut, you're absolutely correct. But in terms of when, if you said during your ride, that's not correct. It's actually afterwards, in the recovery process, where you make your gains. Think of it as riding and your training is setting up, getting better, but then the recovery is actually where you can capitalise on what you've done in your training. But I'm going to give you a rundown of my recovery process, which has made me faster on the bike by riding less, more energetic overall for things like exams, and to quote my geography textbook, it's increased my quality of life. Let's go for a tough ride with some efforts. I'm going to get the GoPro on the front of the bike, and I'll see you on the other side. Right, so as you may have been able to tell, we're in Richmond Park. Today I'm doing 3 1-minute efforts, so, you know, not that much, but it's something to get a little bit of sting in the legs. Starting the first effort up on the hill in the middle of the park, forgot what it's called, going past the horse, and, you know, decent watts. I haven't trained properly in a little bit of time. 550, yeah, up to 600. 600 is around 8 point something watts a kilo. On to the second effort, that was the same, going up the same hill. The power dropped a little bit on that one, I think. And then moving on to the last one, up Sawyers, was absolutely brutal. You can see the sprint coming out of the blocks was, yeah, well over 700 watts, and I'm sustaining that. I'm keeping on pushing. I'm doing the classic Stan Kent of rocking back and forwards on the bike. Yeah, no, Sawyers is really one which drags on. So this was very, very painful. You can see I'm absolutely swinging. It's one of those ones where you're scared about getting out the saddle because you think you might just sort of get sent to the shadow realm. It's about as tough as Magnus and Schumacher not scoring any points when they qualified 5th and 6th. Now, you might already know some of these things, but do take it as a kick up the arse to actually do them, because there's a difference between knowing and doing. I'm going to break the recovery process down into 4 steps, which is active recovery, food, sleep, and habits. To start the active recovery process, we've got stretching, where you can do a variety of exercises to increase your mobility. Now, my personal favourites, which are especially effective from cycling, hamstring stretches, which are tough, but they're worth it. Quad stretches, which makes you look like you have Giga Chad quads, and neck stretches, especially if you're a road cyclist and you've been sort of craned over your handlebars for a long period of time. This is really, really going to pay off. Also, using a foam roller can be a great way to relieve that pain. And ideally, you want to do this all within 30 minutes of your ride, otherwise you will like mould into an arch.
Sometimes my genius is, it's almost frightening.
Now, around a month ago, I was sent this by the lovely people over at Hydragun. It's not a paid thing, but I was just sent to review it. If we open it up, we can see the sleeve with, oh, that looks pretty sick. And then inside, if we open up the box, you can see we've got the gun itself and then a range of different heads used to target different muscle groups. Personally, my favourite is this little ball, and then this one is a great one for the calves since it's curved. I'm yet to try this one out, but it looks absolutely brutal. And then if you want a double kick, use this one. The gun has a range of 6 settings, so this is the first speed, second, third, and you can see it increasing all the way up to 6. It's also the quietest gun on the market. If your family's already pissed off at you, this isn't going to aggravate them more. The gun's helped me reduce soreness in my neck, partially caused because I didn't set up my bike properly, which has helped combat that. And it's also made my quads and calves, particularly my quads, feel a lot better after a long, tough ride, so I'm not confined to the bed for hours or days. Also, when you are using something like the Hydragun or another massage gun, you want to make sure you're going up and down the muscle rather than just staying in a concentrated spot. And you can spend from 15 to 30 seconds per muscle group. And the place where I use it to relieve that neck pain is just here between my shoulder and my neck. And maybe a frequently asked question is, does it hurt? And it doesn't really hurt. It just feels like a massage with a little bit of force, really. Now on to the second part, food. Protein is a huge and important factor when it comes to the recovery process, as it helps build back your muscle fibres, making them more efficient and also bigger, which boosts our ego a bit. Now, whilst people out there can waffle about carbs killing your gains, and carbs contain a lot of calories, which has a weird negative stigma around it, they're extremely important in providing energy and providing the energy for protein synthesis. Now, I personally cut out a lot of sugary snacks and stuff, you know, which is fairly extreme, but it has helped normalise my energy levels, and I feel more energetic, more, you know, able to get out of bed in the morning, etc, etc. Now, my go-to breakfast meal is ham, bread and eggs, and you know, there are some different variations. I like going for scrambled eggs with that, but I also like maybe having an avocado if we've got any, and then doing fried egg on top of that, and then maybe a bowl of oats and milk if I'm extra hungry. Now, I think in the cycling world there's a lot of talk about not eating too much and not getting, you know, too heavy. Being a few kilos heavier and having more muscles going to be way better than having a detrimental low weight with low energy and low motivation and all of that just for the sake of being lighter. And of course, don't just go and like chug protein drinks. Try and go for a balanced diet overall. And now when your mum cooks some healthy meal, just eat that. And don't fucking complain because it has broccoli. Now the third point is going to be sleep, and try to have a relatively fixed sleep schedule because your body produces different hormones at the normalised times where you go to bed forgot the names of them. And that's also why we get that over your sleep feeling, because then the body stops producing that hormone, then you're past that point. Now, personally, I try and get 8 hours of sleep. I think that's reasonable with school and work. Bear in mind, it's the hours of sleep itself, not the time you get into bed, because you do spend a considerable time in and out of sleep, and also not in a deep sleep. Now to the fourth point, which is habits, and generally eating healthy. You know it's true.
You know it's true.
Personally, I like cold showers. I've moved away from having freezing ones all the time recently. I do like a sort of cooling, lukewarm temperature, and it's also better for your skin. So especially if you're a teenager, you have acne. I still do have some spots, but they've been reduced a lot from having cold showers and not eating as much sugary food. There's not a huge amount of data behind the whole cold shower thing, so take it with a pinch of salt. But it is proven to reduce muscle soreness. As a rule of thumb in the fitness community, people usually say don't do intense exercise within 6 hours of your last one, because you're still in the vital stages of recovery. Also in this day and age, we spend a lot of time on computers because of schoolwork, YouTube, language learning, everything. So just chuck a cardboard box. I've been using the one from Hydragun. Obviously that's not sort of marketed with the thing is that you get to do that, but I just thought it was a useful box to stick under my computer, and my neck's hurting a lot less now, so that's great. Comment something below which you think I missed, because I'm not perfect, I don't know everything, I'm not a scientist, but this is just my stuff from personal experience. Link to the Hydragun will be in the description down below. They've done a time limited discount, so do go and check that out if you're interested. Check out this video if you want to see how I did after a year of not riding my bike. Subscribe.